I've been verified for Claude for Teachers, and before I test any of its teaching tools, Claude wants some information about my educational setting. There are 6 screens, but only 4 real setup decisions: what you teach, where you teach, information about your classroom, and whether you want to connect Learning Commons. Let's go through it. First, Claude asks for subjects and grade levels. For context, I previously taught science, math, PE, and computer science. I now work across several school programs rather than one traditional classroom, so I'm selecting Other instead of pretending I currently have one subject and grade. If you're currently teaching, be specific here. Select the subjects and grades you actually want Claude to use when creating materials. The setup is clearly designed around a traditional classroom, but other options provide some flexibility for educators whose work crosses subjects or programs. Next, Claude asks for my state. I'm selecting Arkansas, and this is more important than a normal location setting. Claude says it will use Arkansas academic standards instead of relying on generic standards. This gives us something specific to test later, whether the finished materials actually align with the right Arkansas standard. This is the most important personalization screen. A classroom teacher could describe the current unit, student readiness levels, available class time, and any learning supports that need to be considered. Since I don't have one current classroom, I'm giving Claude broader context and instructing it to ask for the missing details before creating something specific. Essentially, I'm telling Claude about my background while instructing it not to assume that every request comes from the same classroom. Now we reach the feature I'm most interested in, the Learning Commons connector. Claude says this provides read-only access to K-12 state standards, curriculum, and other educational resources. It is only used when relevant, and it can be turned off later. The connector also includes licensed resources from Illustrated Mathematics and OpenSciEd for non-commercial educational use. I'm turning it on because standards and curriculum grounding could be what separates this from simply asking a general AI chatbot to create a lesson. Claude has reduced my initial profile to someone working with other subjects in Arkansas. It also asks whether I want it to remember details like these. I'm leaving memory turned on so we can test whether the information carries into future conversations. Claude says the account is now ready to create lesson plans and differentiate lessons, but completing an onboarding form is the easy part. The setup is quick, and I like that it connects location, academic standards, and classroom context. What we don't know yet is whether Claude will actually use that information correctly. In the next video, I'm going to give it a real Arkansas standard and ask it to create a classroom-ready lesson. Then we'll audit the result for alignment, rigor, timing, and whether a teacher could actually use it. If you teach in Arkansas, leave a grade, subject, or standard you would like for me to test.